No, let me begin by outlining that Republic of Korea had issued a very strong condemnation of the terrorist attack in Pahalgam. I think they were very clear about the fact that terrorism cannot be justified in any form, it cannot be condoned. And in our interactions with them, including during the visit of this parliamentary delegation, I see that there has been a understanding of our position. They have acknowledged our action which was responsible and restrained. The visit of the parliamentary delegation, of course, is very, very important and critical for us in reaching out to a wide cross-section of Korean government, polity and society. During their visit, they interacted with the Foreign Office. They met a number of key dignitaries in the parliament, including the chairman of the Defense Affairs Committee, with the India-Korea Friendship group in National Assembly. They also met the Vice Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee. They had detailed discussions with the first Vice Foreign Minister, and during that interaction we also had brief interaction with the Foreign Minister who had dropped in. We also had a very extensive exchange of views with representatives of think tank community here and a few other eminent dignitaries, and media interaction. We also met the Indian diaspora. In all these meetings, the all-party delegation that had visited from India was very clear in articulating our new security doctrine, which has been laid out by the Honorable Prime Minister on how we are going to deal with terrorism in future. If there is a terrorist attack, it will invite a response, and that we are not going to make a distinction between terrorists and the state that provides support to those terrorists. We will not be subject to nuclear blackmail. We also, in response to queries from local interlocutors, explained our no first use doctrine. And lastly, I think the parliamentary delegation also underlined the need for action by the international community, particularly when it comes to the issue of how to hold perpetrators or organizers or financiers or sponsors of terrorism. How do we hold them to justice? How do we hold them accountable? I think there was a good set of discussions on that aspect also, and understanding from the Korean side also that free countries, democracies need to unite against this menace of terrorism.
So, India and South Korea enjoy a robust relationship. Where these relationships are going, what is the focus right now?
Yes, India and the Republic of Korea do enjoy a very wide-ranging, especially strategic partnership. And if you look at the relationship today, it straddles political, security issues, defense, a very robust economic and commercial partnership, growing science and technology, and startup exchanges, and of course more P2P exchanges as well. As you know, currently the South Korean are preparing for the next presidential elections, and what we intend to do, that once the new government is in place, we will try to resume high-level exchanges. We have a number of ministerial dialogues at the level of Foreign Minister, Finance Minister and Science and Technology Ministers, and the objective would be to get these kick-started in earnest, and we would also hope for an early visit by the new President of Republic of Korea to India. If you look at our economic and commercial exchanges, bilateral trade is around 25 billion, but there is certainly a scope for growth there. We have around $10 billion of investments from Korea, with around 2 billion or so flowing into India over the last 2 years, and we are sort of expanding into new areas of cooperation. We also undertake around 15 joint research projects with Korea, and we are taking several new initiatives to expand and strengthen our cooperation in those areas.